So I just did a walkthrough of the Vessel Spirit Speak Oracle, and now I'm going to do a walkthrough of the Spirit Speak Tarot deck. Now this is the regular edition, which is no longer available, but you can still get the deck. It's just reversed, and so what is black in this deck is white in the other, and vice versa. So the background is white with black roses, and the actual front of the card is all black with white relief, so to speak. I will put nobody here has a look at this particular deck. She just did it. I thought that was hilarious because I had these out for a couple days to do it, and she has that version that you can still get, and so I will put a link to that below so that you can see that. But the images are all the same. It's just that reverse of the color orientation. Now, nice little tuck box here, very good quality. This is 2014. This version was 2014 by Mary Elizabeth Evans, and very well done box. I love it. I love the elements on the sides. It's just a really nice tuck box, very nicely done. I love the roses on the side. This backing is one of my favorite backings just in general. I just really love it. So that's the box. You can see that it's quite a small deck. What do I have here? This is a playing card size Benabel Wens that I just had done a walkthrough of, and it is the exact same size. So this is a playing card size tarot deck. The Oracle card is also smaller than a regular Oracle card, but it makes a nice little set because the Oracle is still larger than the Tarot, which I do like to have. So it does make a nice set. I can't wait to read with them together. So it also comes with a little book, very nicely bound, very nice paper. It's glossy, but it's very bendy. It just feels nice. And it has, let's see, an image of the card, and then it has in handwritten text. That would be very hard for me to read. I'm not sure why that came off as being so small, but it's got that feeling of being done by hand, which it clearly was. So it has a paragraph about each of the cards. We'll take a look at what type of information it's giving when we get in. This has very similar artwork. There's no color in this. It's all black and white, but it has very similar artwork to the Vessel. They definitely go together. I'm sure that they were probably created to go together. I believe the tarot deck came first. I do find the Oracle, as if you've watched my walkthrough of the Oracle deck, I do find the artwork to be slightly creepy to me. It has that Picasso feel that I've always found to be slightly creepy. But the Oracle deck really works. I have not looked at all these cards because it has never appealed to me. It wasn't a deck that I would have purchased myself, but I have had really good experience with the Oracle deck. So I'm looking forward to taking a look at the tarot deck and seeing how they work together. There aren't any like spreads or anything in here. It's just the cards themselves. I really do like this little white book. But let's just go right into the cards because that's definitely the focus of any deck, but specifically this particular deck. There is a very quirkiness. There's a quirky feel to it, a disjointed feel on a lot of the cards of the artwork style of this artist. That for me is discombobulating. I said that word probably too many times in the Oracle, but it works because it causes me to rethink things. So here, for example, we have the Fool. Let's see what they say about the Fool. A person stands, belongings packed. They're one. Oops, see, I can't read very well without my glasses, and I can't find them. They are ready to catch a train, not knowing where it will lead them. The Fool represents a new beginning without knowing where you will end up. You're not worried about that, though. You are filled with the excitement of the new. So we have a person who is packed and ready to go. They're going to get on this train to wherever it's going to lead and just going to go where they're going to go. I do like this idea of the Fool because it almost like we do have that feeling that we are starting at the very beginning, because very often the Fool is up on a mountain and it's not necessarily they've already gone a long way to get to the mountain. Whereas this, we kind of feel like we're right at the beginning of the journey with the Fool. So I like that. Here we have the Magician. I really do like this card as well. Look at, we have, I've not seen very many of these. A lot of people have done walkthroughs of them, but because I wasn't really interested in buying them, I hadn't gotten around to actually watching a full walkthrough of this yet. Although I often do that even with decks I'm not going to buy. I just haven't seen a full walkthrough of this one. I love this. We have all of everything that they need is in their hands. Access to all the elements. It's the Magician. Lots of snakes, I will say, in the vessel. Lots of snakes and lots of hand snake imagery. This one is disturbing to me. Let's see what it says. Because we have that snake coming out of the mouth. And I identify very highly with the High Priestess. But this one's a little creepy. The Keeper of Secrets. The High Priestess knows that of the universe true mysteries. She is the gate between, these are very tiny for me to read, and then combined with the handwriting. Now I believe that the deck that you can get now is actually less of the handwriting and more of actual typed up, which I prefer for myself just for reading. But let me grab my glasses. And let me be clear, it is not the fault of the artist that I can't see without my glasses. Okay, the Keeper of Secrets. The High Priestess knows that of the universe true mysteries. She is the gate between the earthly world and places that are otherworldly. Her knowledge can make her appear blunt and uncaring. This is because she cannot be bothered with petty issues revolving around the material world. She is not to be messed with. In the card, a snake comes out of her mouth and stares her in the eye, around a crystal ball. The crystal ball represents her ability to see the unseen. I love that. The snake represents the severeness of the knowledge that she has coiled inside of her. So see, that to me is very interesting and makes a lot of sense. Again, still difficult for me to read even with my glasses. So that is a fact. And this I don't even know if I would be able to read. I might have to watch it back on video. So that kind of stuff, like I want to be able to easily read a guidebook, especially when it has a very different flair to it. But I believe it's something that has been fixed in the deck that is currently available for printing. I like the looks of this kind of organicness, but I do want to be able to very easily read my guidebooks. But so this makes sense. It's very creepy to me, but I do like the message of it. Not so much her severeness, but she's got all this knowledge coiled up inside of her, and it's going to come out. She's actually going to have to face that knowledge as well. She's going to stand in the light of her own knowledge. So that's pretty cool. Here we have the Empress. She is the mother. I can read that. She holds an egg representing birth. It often represents pregnancy. She also holds a scepter that shows a responsibility a mother inherits when bringing a new life. There is ivy to represent fertility. See, I do want to be able to read this because actually she's going into the symbols, and I love that in a guidebook. I want to know why, and especially when it's a quirkier deck like this, I want to know why. So I really like that the guidebook is giving me that answer. On this one, and I think it's the only one that's that small. Yeah, on this one I'm going to have a really hard time, but I'm getting through it, right? There is ivy to represent fertility, devotion, and love. Saturn is above her, representing authority. I use authoritative images because feel like mothers have two sides, that authoritative and that nurturing, which I agree with. Which is loving and also ruling. To have both in balance is a very powerful thing. So again, I like that. I like that it is telling me what's going on here, why she chose these particular symbols here. I quite like that a lot. I love this one. Here we have the father, the emperor, the father figure, the structure, the house, the security, the stability, the material aspect of things. But we do have nods even to Rider-Waite Smith that you can see in many of these. I like that. the Hierophant. Like, so for me, I look at this and I think, okay, what are we looking at here? I would need to have some information about this. We have a cactus here, which does speak of, to me that speaks of like holding water, like it holds water so that it can get through the desert. We have like a halo here, we have hands, we have a pentacle. Let's see what this says. A spiritual leader or figure. In the card I drew a saguaro cactus because of their spiritual significance to her. The saguaro is a sacred plant, a guardian and an ancient. Oh, that's neat. It is sharp and unbending in its ways. They can survive in sometimes dire environment devoid of water, but inside they are a well. Oh, that's really good for a Hierophant, isn't it? I look to the imagery as an example of how I want to have my own power in the world. I want to be so strong in myself that I am a fertile well. Oh, I love that. Even when the environment around me is void of water, which brings all life, I can be unmoving and unbending in my inner strength. See, that's fantastic. I love it. I do think this type of deck, read the guidebook. Like, it's going to give you so much. Because she's done a good job in just a paragraph of letting me in on her vision. And that's what, if you're going to go outside of the normal imagery, I want to know that. I want to peek into your mind as to why you created the image the way that you did. I love that. Of course, I can't do this for every card, or we're going to be at this forever. But I will if it just really needs it. Here we can see the Lovers card. We saw this, I like this one actually better than the Romance card in the Vessel deck, which is quite similar, but I was kind of like, oh, it's supposed to be about romance and we have snakes. Let me see if I can quickly find it. Not love, like I like the Love card a lot. I think it was romance is what the word was. Yeah, so here we have the hand snakes. I personally prefer the snakes than the hand snakes. We have roses here instead of the goopiness going there. So that is quite interesting. I mean, the other one works for me. I've used it and it works quite well, but I quite like this one. I feel like you have that yin and yang feel to it. I like the Lovers. The kind of I just like this one. It works for me. It works. Let's see if she says anything about the snakes. She says snakes can represent eternal love, and she also sees them as a sexual symbol. They're entwined, that kind of feeling there. I like that. It works. Here we have the Chariot. Again, this is so interesting. I've seen this before and thought, what is going on here, right? So we have a tree. We have a hand spouting out of the tree. One is combative and one is holding. So we have different energies here. And we have this sort of movement here. It says, no one can stop you. It's hard work, no doubt, but you are a force to be reckoned with. The tree represents strength, a giant natural force. The boxing glove represents your unstoppable force. In result, cities of achievement arise from the clouds. The gain may not only be physical but mental as well. So it's less about the actual movement and that confidence and that being a force into yourself that we get with the Chariot. Works for me. I definitely don't know how much I would have got of that. Well, I would have. I mean, you've got the stability here. You have the combativeness. You've got that spirit energies. We've got an oak tree that's strong. So it could be very intuitive as well. Justice to me is quite clear. I love the moon. I love the bone of the scale there. We have the new growth or the dead growth. I think that's fantastic. I love it. Here we have the Hermit. I love the reaching for the stars there. I think that it's very interesting with the snails. Slow growth. A time to look inward to your spiritual self. The figure is creating a magic spark and at the same time is still figuring it out. Their eyes are mystified by discovering their own power, looking closely at their own power there. The snails with quilted backs represent staying at home, staying inward, cozied up in a warm quilt. I wouldn't have gotten that. I wouldn't have got coziness out of the snails. Now I will, because I know that. But there's other things you could probably come up with that with in terms of slow and steady pace, that type of thing as well. But I do think this is a deck that is going to benefit from reading the guidebook, because I really like it once I read it. I actually like this Wheel of Fortune card. I'm not generally a fan of Wheel of Fortune cards, and this one I think really works. I love the day and the night. I love, almost looks like water here. We've got the animal and the snake, which we oftentimes see. Which animals did she pick here? The snake slithering below represents a descent to earth and the material world, and the fox rises above into the spiritual realm. I really like that one. Now, this one, I will say I don't like the creepy bunny. That is a creepy, somebody told me what it was. I was talking about Donnie Darko is what a movie I thought about. That to me is creepy, although she calls it a shadow puppet. See, I should read these things. In the card, I drew a shadow rabbit grabbing a lion's open mouth. The reason I wanted the rabbit to have the appearance of a shadow puppet is because I feel like you must gather strength that you may not feel like you have. We must make ourselves larger than we appear. The shadow puppet being only a projection of a smaller thing. Be brave. So this kind of reminds me of from The King and I. Whenever I feel afraid, I hold myself erect and whistle a happy tune so no one will suspect I'm afraid. So it's kind of making yourself bigger. And then it says, make believe you're brave and the trick will take you far. You can be as brave as you make believe you are. And then it goes in whistling. That same sort of idea is sometimes we have to make ourselves braver than we are, and then we will actually, because it talks about how that once you make believe it, you will actually start to become what you trick yourself into believing about yourself. So it works. See, now it works. Where at first that was just a creepy Donnie Darko bunny, now that makes sense to me. Here we have the Hanged Man with an exploded head. He gained so much. He got so much insight that his head exploded. You need to sacrifice something, but is it his head? Sometimes I see this card as someone who bends over backwards. The figure is upside down, tied by their foot, but there's no struggle. They were balanced, but you cannot move forward until you cut that rope. Cut ties that bind you. Very interesting. You know, there's usually a halo around the head of the Hanged Man, but it works. It works, and it makes me smile. Look at that's pretty cool. I like the Death card. She wanted to change it. It's not so much as physical death, it's so many fears. It's the death of the old and the birth of the new. Ooh, I really like that card. Here we have Temperance. I love Temperance as a bird. The opposites, fire and water. Everything you need for Temperance. I'm trying to go a little quicker. Now see this one. Then you have, I love this devil. Look at him. He's so cute. Many people fear the devil as an evil force that takes you captive. I agree that it can take you captive, but your own doing. The devil card is your own demons, the vices in your life that can take over your thoughts, which I agree with. And we have, you know, pills here, we have alcohol, we have money, we have cigarettes, we have gambling, we have shackles. That's, you know, just kind of the things that we think about of vices. But it's reaching out and enveloping them because we are holding on to them ourselves, and we are the funny little devil here. Love it. It's adorable. Here we have the Tower card. Very towery. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to keep moving. But that works to me as a tower. Here we have the Star card. I quite like this with the horseshoe. That's quite positively light. Good omens. It says the chandelier represents light and also beauty. The horseshoe is for good luck. The iris for hope. I like this. This card brings good things. Great things. I like the Moon card. Look at that. I like the spiral. I like the moon. I like the compass. I like the question marks on the compass. Not sure what is reality and what's not reality there. I really like that. It does bring about that idea of illusions. Love it. The Sun card, we have the all-seeing eye. I can live with that. We have a little face here. I actually like the Sun card. It's pretty cool. I can go with that one. Look at Judgment. I love all the, I don't generally like the hands. They kind of creep me out in the Vessel deck. Although again, I like this deck. But the hands do creep me out. This is hilarious. They're all like raising their hand like, me. Let me rise up to Judgment. I love it. Hands reach up to heaven, ready to be taken from the material world into another realm. The sea represents emotion that can sometimes torment us on the earth. The hands are reaching to be absolved and cleared of the past. Very cool. Here we have the World card. Very interesting. I don't generally like World cards. This is cool. The card shows a crown and a trophy and glowing reward. You have made it to the finish line and enjoy the completion of your long journey. I like it. And so that's the majors here. I actually am quite am happy with this. I'm surprised, to be honest. This one creeps me out, but I get it. This one makes me smile. I really like this Hierophant. I like the Lovers. This one works. They all really work for me. The Snails, I'm not entirely sold on the Cozy Snails, but it still works. I love the World. This one I now like. Exploding Head, like it, I really like it. So yeah, this one actually quite has taken me by surprise. I wasn't sure, which is why I haven't bought this deck. I really wasn't sure what I would think about that, but they work. So let's take a quick look at the aces, because you know that's how I roll. I do like to have, and I really am happy with the guidebook. Can I just say it's a little difficult to read because of the handwriting, but other than this one, the mother's so tiny, I have been able to work it out with my glasses. But I really love that she's taking the time to let us see why she used the symbols, and that means a lot to me. I don't know if this is a pip deck. It looks like she might get a little bit more just, you know, what is the meaning versus going deeply into the symbols, but that's okay with the minors. I really like how she did the majors. That's 2 thumbs up on the guidebook for me. Okay, so let's look at the, I'm going to put them in the order that I look at cards. And I'm going to go quicker for this, I promise, because we do need to move along here. This is going to be so forever. Pentacles. Swords. I do it now. I kind of keep my decks in, when I put them in order, in the order of Geomancy, which is fire, air, water, and earth, and the wands. So here we can see them all. We have the traditional hands in the active ones. We don't normally see hands in the receptive energy cards, but we do have it with the pentacle. But I love the rings on the finger, the money signs. I love the cups. I love even the lightning bolts and the rains and the sense of air and water that's here. This is quite interesting. I'll be interested to see if that carries through the deck. And then the finger electrocuting magic finger, I love with the wands. So let's take a quicker look than we've been doing, because I do want to show this actually in use. Okay, so here we have the Ace of Wands, which we already looked at. I love the Two of Wands. You've got 2 paths to go. Like, which way are you going to go? The music, the paintbrush, so you have the creative energy. Are you going to go in the elevator? Like, there's decisions to be made on which way you're going to go. Here's the Three of Wands, which generally is like you kind of done what you're going to do, and now you're kind of waiting for your ship to come back in. This has it as well. You've accomplished some work, but you still have a long journey to go. So I think that is interesting view of this as well. Here we have the Four of Wands. This one's a little interesting because it doesn't feel super celebratory, just the way these are bundled together. But you, I guess, have done the work to get the bundles together, and now you get to take a break. I also, yeah, look at how the eyes are all going in different directions. You know, number 5s are disruptive energy, and this one in the guidebook, it talks about irritation. We can see the flies, you know, when flies are swarming around and irritating you. It's like it's not going to stop you. It's just irritating you. It's a distraction, and you just have to kind of get through it. It talks about. So this definitely is going in some neat directions, I feel. This is kind of typical. Again, not the way that it is, but the message here of a victory, which we can see with the cup here. Here we have the Seven of Wands. You've built a lot of things, but there could still be difficulties going on with the Seven. We've got lightning striking. You stay focused through the difficulties. It's raining. So that's that. The Eight of Wands. This to me, personally, I really like the traditional with all the wands going through. It looks fast. Like this kind of looks like it's floating along. I don't feel that fast energy, but it's still a movement card that's left the movement there. So I do like at least that that's there. This one is very strange to me because this is, to me, looks like the Ten of Wands. And we have this as the Nine of Wands. It says you have so much work to do, but you have just enough strength to do it. So there is that sense in the Nine of Wands of having endured so much already, but ready for that kind of final wave, and you're going to hold your ground. But just looks so much like the Ten of Wands. That, to me, is a little bit strange. And then with the Ten of Wands, you've taken out too much, but you've dropped it all. I don't like, I'll be honest, I do not like Ten of Wands like this. There's another one I have with the Ten of Wands where the Ten of Wands, the person in the Ten of Wands is just sort of huddled in a corner and is not able to function at all. And for me, the Ten of Wands is so much this energy of it's super hard. It's really difficult. You may be crawling on hands and knees with stones on your back, but you're still moving forward. Your chin is up. You're bent. You're not broken kind of feeling. And you know, I mean, there's certainly ways to read with this, and that's the message in and of itself. It's just too much. You can't handle it on your own. You have to ask for help. So that would be a very different take for me than what the Ten of Wands for me generally is. So then we come to the Court cards where we have the Page, that kind of egg. It's new creative ideas. We have the Knight, a journey, a movement of houses or home. That's interesting. So it's almost like a moving house. A journey from one place to another, you know, with the path leading between the two. So at least there's the movement of the Knight. The Queen of Wands, steamy and boiling. Emotion and movement is the Queen of Wands. She is the queen of getting stuff done. And then we have the King of Wands, where we can see that sort of stability. He is the flame. We have him as the flame and his hand coming up, and he's accomplished things. He's building a whole city from nothing, it says, with the King of Wands. Then we get to the Ace of Swords. I really like this Two of Swords. I like the two swords here and walking the balancing. That's quite effective as the swords. I like that. Here we have the Three of Swords. I mean, that works. The swords are not in the heart. It's at that kind of after effect, but it's already happened, and now what are you going to do with it? I think that works really well. That's beautiful. I love that. The Five of Swords, all this discord, and I love the headset on her head's blocked, trying to block it out. I think that's pretty awesome. Here we have the Six of Swords needing to get away. The city is on fire. It's done. It's over. It's time to move away. We don't have the person helping really, but that you often see with the boat, and I do miss the boat imagery just because I love that with the Six of Swords, but this works very well. Here we have the Seven of Swords with the fingers crossed behind the back. There could be deceit there, that she has the flowers here looking all innocent, but you maybe not trust the situation. Pay attention. There might be something going on that you don't understand, don't see at first glance. Here we have the 8 of Swords and Entrapment. I think this is gorgeous. The 9 of Swords. This talks about how there is no physical or real life problem. The trouble lies within your own mind. You are paralyzed by your own torment. That's really good. That's a good one. And look at that. But it's up in the mind. See that? The worst mental stress and torment. It is the worst place and can only get better from here. Rock bottom, but a new beginning arises. That's a pretty powerful image. I like it. Page of Swords. The Knight of Swords. Very bang. I like the air sign there. A powerful creative force. A life-changing person, if it's a person, who can also bring some chaos. The Queen of Swords. No. This is a powerful and strong person. The Queen has seen all strife and turmoil and has been through it all. She is a no-nonsense. It's like she's saying no to all this right here. She's just saying, thou shalt not pass, like Gandalf. Love it. And then the King of Swords, of course, has got everything in balance. Libra here. Very nice. I like those. Ace of Cups. 2 of Cups. We have kind of earthwormy hands instead of snake hands, but they're all tangled together. And as we see with the 2 of Cups, the celebration of the 3 of Cups. I do like the triangle here. I like the balloons. It's a coming together of people. It's, you don't see any people here. I'm surprised there's not like eyeballs or something, but it works for the energy. 4 of Cups, not fond of. I mean, I can read with this, and I, go with that energy for this particular deck. I don't read the 4 of Cups unless it's in reverse. I don't read the 4 of Cups as being this overwhelming stagnation, and she just looks horrible. Like for me, the number 4 is stability. So there is a sense of stability in the emotions, and if it stays too long, it's going to stagnate. That's just how I personally read it. And so this image doesn't go at all with how I read the 4 of Cups. But I can read with it. Again, if I'm using this deck and I'm aware when this card comes up, it is saying something different than what other decks that I might generally use. So it's not that I can't read with it, it's just not my preferred image of the 4 of Cups. At least if it's just boredom, it doesn't lock it in so much, whereas this is pretty clearly a negative. We've got a poison sign here and everything, poisoned or skull and crossbones. So this is very lovely, or very poignant. We've got the 3 and then the sparkling good cups behind it, very traditional. Here is the 6. These I feel like are probably overflowing with honey or something. We have, this is generally nostalgia here, the 6 of Cups. We have, let's see what they say. Past efforts bring reward to the future. If you look at the 5 of Cups, the 6 is the person who took all of that work and love that needed to be done and built it up. Possibly can mean an encounter with the past. The full flower and bud entwined symbolize a connection between the past and here we have the bud and here we have a full flower. So we have a connection with the past as well as the present and something new. Traditional 7 with the different items inside of the cups there. I really do like this, except for that, again, I don't generally see the 8 of Cups as a sad movement away. For me, it is something is finished and it's time to move on to the next. It's not really, for me, it's not necessarily a negative thing. And traditionally, you don't see the cups upside down and spilling out. So I do think this is a really neat looking card, though. Here we have the 9 of Cups, which is beautiful. Wishes granted. Passion, love, sex, it says. Just kind of everything good. In the 10, we have the partnership, the wedding rings, the rainbow of cups over the top. Everything is great. We have the page. The knight with the horse. The Queen with the all-seeing eye at the top. Unique insight. She understands love how others cannot. She is adorned, and full of loving energy. And then the King of Cups with the trident and the pincher claw. Then we have the Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles. We've got that sort of balancing going on, as well as some tools there. Movement, infinity sign represents constant work that needs to be done, new work. So it's a lot of work going on and balancing things. Here we got hard work going on with the nail, with the dollar sign on it, and the 3 hands with the hammers. It's about teamwork. It's about working to work together with somebody. Here we have a traditional kind of the miser card. I could still read with this not being the miser, like this can just be holding your resources in right now, which is sometimes how this card comes up for me. It's just fairly traditional. Here we have the 5 of Pentacles. I think this is really lovely, especially when we remember that the Hierophant about the sacredness. So you get that sacred sense of the church with these 3, I can't remember what they're called, this type of cactus. But I do think this is really beautiful. It works quite well. Same thing here, pretty traditional. You've got a hand that is giving out money, deciding who needs money and where to place the money. We have the 7 of Pentacles as a choice. Things are working out well. There are other opportunities that could be taken. You can stick with what is working or risk what you have and build on a promising, so it's like a crossroads moment. So there's like the moon here, the sun here. Which direction are you going to go? That's interesting. I've not seen a 7 of Pentacles put out like that either. Here we have the 8 of Pentacles. You're doing your thing. You're working hard. You're happy at work. We've got, again, the hammer here, but everything is balanced well. Just working hard at what you're doing. And in the 9, we see the fulfillment of wealth. You've got all this wealth. The fruits of your labor have been brought in. All is well. And then it's like you're taking all your wealth. We can see the hands to me are so creepy. It works, but these hands are creepy. Am I the only person who sees these hands as creepy? I see these hands as creepy, but it does work. But we can see the pentacles moving down. And the egg is planted. It's taking all of its resources and putting down roots, it talks about. I quite like that. I love the Page of Pentacles as a cracked open egg. The Knight of Pentacles, that's interesting. An observant, detail-oriented hard worker. You're building a foundation of work to reach your goals. Interesting. We have the Queen of Pentacles here. Earthly mother. She is the domestic queen. She's covered in wealth. She always takes care of the ones she loves. She takes the hungry to feed them and shares her wealth. So we can see all of her wealth, but she is using that wealth. And then the King of Pentacles ends up with some horns. A father figure who pushes you to do more. They are the master of earthly work and profit, emphasis on work. I don't know why he's got horns, but so there we have it. A couple of them, I really the only one that I have real problems with would be the 4 of Cups. Again, I can read with it. It's just not my preferred message with the 4 of Cups. So let's take a look at how these shuffle. I think they're going to shuffle quite well. Well, it's a little bit of a thick, you know, the cardstock itself, if it was like a normal deck of cards, but because of course you have 78 and there's not, whenever you get a thick deck of cards, a lot, 78 cards in a small format, you can't get the bend that you really need for a rifle shuffle. So to me, this is a little bit difficult to rifle shuffle. That could break in time. But with this small size, it's really easy to side shuffle. So it's an interesting cardstock. It really does feel quite like a playing cardstock. It's got a bit of a gloss to it, as you can see there. You don't see it so much on the front because it's white, so that's nice. I really don't get a glare on the front. Okay, let's lay this out. Would like to see this. I'm going to do my traditional large spread, but I'm going to use the oracle cards at the end. Or maybe as above and so below, because I usually like, well, you know what I'll do? I think I'll do this. Let's just try this for kicks. I quite like shuffling these better, to be honest, but that's because there's less of them and it's bigger, so you've got the ability to flex more. Okay, so I'm going to pull a past, present, and future card. I'm just going to see. I'm just playing around here. I may use this for something more too. I'm going to go ahead and do the fire, water, or no, fire, air, water, and earth. And then I'm going to go above and below. So you can see, I mean, these are definitely made to go together. They're going to read, you know, in terms of visually, it's the same style of artwork. You've got the splash of color with the oracle cards and a little bit larger, but it is quite a beautiful deck. I'm not going to go into a full reading right now because I feel like I read a lot of guidebook stuff and I'm probably really pushing my time frame, but I just wanted to see, I mean, those look really great together. Yeah, so if we look at the passes, it was in a time of rest. It's time to activate the spirit and kind of move forward and be ready to do some enduring. You've got all the strength that you need. Kind of bring that spirit up. It's going to be some work to do, but you can keep moving forward. In the realm of fire, we have it's time to leave whatever situation, whatever passionate situation, it's time to leave that and move on. It's a bad situation. It's time to move on. Creatively, it's time to take a fresh journey. It's a fresh path forward because it's whatever you were doing isn't working anymore. We look in the air, we have the sense of newness with the egg here, a new creative way of thinking. It's time to change the way. There's definitely some change going on in both the fire energy and the air energy. It's time to shake things up and time for some to change, because what was going on in the past isn't working anymore, and so it's time for a new outlook there. Emotionally, definitely some difficult times, but this is much of the emotional turmoil going on is of the person's own making. And when we look to the earth and disability, there's some choices in the everyday life, some maybe work choices. There is it's time to really look at what is important and what's not, what is a pipe dream and what is a dream to pursue. And so there's some changes to be done there. When we look above, we have the Two of Cups, that union, right? That coming together of things. And when we look below, we have that is the Ace of Cups, that new sense, because it's not working in the water place, right? This is the water and the cups, and yet we have this new as above, so below. We need to get that internal, fresh emotional outlook, because clearly not working right now. And the way to do that is with the connection with other people, another person. It may be a relationship, or it may, depending on what the question is and what's going on here. But I do think that these read really beautifully together. They look gorgeous together, and yeah. So thank you for taking a look at these with me. I will let you know, again, I just have you know, kind of taken a look at these cards, and most of them I really like a lot more than I thought that I would. And I'm really looking forward to actually using these and seeing how they end up going reading. And I will definitely get back with you and let you know how they go when I'm actually getting in there and reading the cards. So thank you for watching.